Well, let me tell you something. We often stigmatize a lot of our youth we see on the streets, not beginning to imagine the knowledge they hold in their brains. Well, before he attained his doctorate, Howard Harvey spent his days wiping windshields, and he's here to tell us how he transitioned from the streets of Kingston to the classrooms of the Temple University in Philadelphia. Good morning. Welcome to
Thanks for
Smile
having me. Good
Jamaica.
morning.
It's morning
Yes.
time. It sounds almost like an impossible story.
Yeah.
Howard, you don't mind me saying Howard?
No, man, that's good.
And I'm happy that we'll be able to share it with our viewers. So let's start with wiping the windshields. How you end up doing that and
All
being
right.
on the street?
As I get a youth in the Maxfield area,
Yeah.
the struggles go on with the family, 7 brothers, 2 sisters, and the parents with limited income, you know?
Yeah.
Hustlers, and sometimes the hustling can extend to the 7 brothers and 2 sisters the way I would have loved it to. And as the eldest one there, I was charged with a lot of responsibilities. And at one point I said, no man, I need to be a part of the contributing factor. So I decided between school and hustling. And while I was struggling between the two, the streets won, you know, because survival.
I was going to say that because sometimes I talk to young people and they say, why do I need education, Miss Harris?
Yeah.
Because me I go out there go hustle. So you're on the streets, but what kept that determination in you that education was important and that you could be much more than the streets?
Well, when I actually said that they graduated me from the school, that I was going to at the time, Norman Manley, the grade was so low that I was so embarrassed. But at the time, I get conscious and I said, no, this needs to change. And then between going to and fro, I decided that I'm going to get engaged. But the YMCA, which is the catalyst of this stimulus in terms of the education, when I was rescued by the YMCA, pretty much, and you saw all these different uptown people, different classism, educational background, the upliftment, you got a little bit, if you want to use the word jealous, but it's not jealous in a bad way. You want to be like them. And so one summer...
Raise your level of ambition.
Right. Oh, you mean, I got to think that I look sweet, you know.
Yeah.
I was going through, and I met a young lady, and she said, yeah, man, I'll help you. And she started, but when she opened the math book, it's like French, Spanish, everything into one. I was so confused because I wasn't so engraved in the academics.
And you had already graduated from high school.
Yeah, and it's not even graduate, just pass it through. Right, yeah. And there it started. But she had helped me, and I made several attempts to attain the CXC. That was a struggle because, according to one of the psychologists, once you miss the building block, you know, you're going to have struggles.
Difficult.
Yes. And so I've attempted the CXC quite a number of times. To my surprise today, I'm still waiting for even a grade.
In the CXC?
In the CXC.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, because I tell you, I mean, if you joke out third form, you know, listen, kids,
Hey,
if you joke out third
don't
form,
ramp it out,
you can't catch it back at fifth form, so you have to do it. So that didn't happen. So talk me through now how we got to where we are now. So left school, struggled with the CXCs. How did we get to Temple University?
I decided that I really needed education because I couldn't go back to where I came from. There's a guy named Les Brown that says, once your mind is extended with an idea or a concept, it shall never go back. So I wanted more. So I keep trying. And like somebody said to me, try certification. So I went to extramural, and my stepfather said, always make sure that you do anything you do.
That's
you go early. No, man, that's UA, yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, that's yeah. So I went in and registered. So they asked me for the CXC. I put pending. But I went in early. So by the time the CXC result to come, I already started.
Already, yeah.
And they never remember to ask me for it. And the lady who tell them to let me through the gate. Once I go in, I just keep working, night and day. And so the next time, my first lecturer was Lakem Samaj. I did early childhood, I did introduction to psychology.
Wow.
And from that day, that guy, man, he pushed me.
Yeah.
And I just keep working. And then the next year, I used the certificate to qualify for the next program. So they never asked me for no CXC because I was already in
Gone through
the
that
system.
already.
And then from there, now I went to the VTDI. And no maths, no English. And they had a program there where you could study your major program and still do your college maths and English. And that's where I propelled from. And I met a guy named Louis Marston, man. That guy was very ferocious. And he had an intense passion for education and men. He wanted men to be in it. And when Louis said, Harvey, where you are going, where you coming from? And so he was one of the guys who kind of give me that balance in education. It wasn't about just content.
Yeah.
It was about motivation and upliftment. And he would tell you about Booker T. Washington and Marcus Garvey and all these things because it seemed like you have a philosophical construct under the Rastafarians.
Yes,
Is him.
yes, yes.
So I really embrace it. And from there, Marston pushed me. When I finished the bachelor's up at VTDI, he said, Harvey, you got to move to Michael, you know. And I couldn't understand why Louis was just pushing me. So when I signed up for Michael now, I never have the thing organized. They asked for a particular GPA. But while I was at the VTDI, I failed so many times. Because you were struggling, because you have missed the fundamentals you keep. Yeah, but I was determined because I wasn't going to go back to where I'm coming from because I am representing me, I am representing the street boys, I'm representing men, I'm representing the ghetto youths.
Yeah.
So as the soldier in the war for them, I got to stand up and take the beating.
So what did Michael say?
At first when I went to Michael said, you're not qualified for this thing, you know.
Yes.
But they didn't know that I have a goal, and one of the goals is to go to Michael. So when I went to Michael, the lady said, Harvey, you don't have the stuff. So I said, but I want to study and be a teacher. She said, no, you have to have these things. So after I finish up VTDI, they asked for the transcript. But they don't know that I've gone to extramural and tricked the system in getting there early. So in going to Michael now, I went in and did the interview. So my transcript came down late. And at the time, I did very well in the interview because I can't speak well, you know. And still, when they meet a guy like Louis Marston, you know, you have to be able to get
and make him smart. You have to represent.
Right, so I go in and I represent. And by this time now, the transcript came, and I'm already in the system. So the lady who stopped me from going to Michael, she didn't know that I was bound for Michael.
Yeah.
And when I went to Michael, I decided that I'm not going to fail anything. And I went through. Michael, the pass mark was 70. Can you imagine coming from barely passing from 50?
Tough to pass mark 70. Yeah. Michael tough. But they do it for a reason.
Oh, yes.
And so you went through Michael.
Right.
And then to Temple.
Right. Then I went to the States. I was doing my thesis while I was in the States for Michael.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, Anthony DePaz, and Liz McKenzie, they said, you got to continue the education. So they took me up to Temple from New Jersey. They just drive me on campus and let me walk around on campus. Now, one of the fundamental issues there is that see where you want to go and feel it.
Yes.
And even walk it. When I go and walk and this
is it.
Yes.
All right. We have to go. But before you go, you're with LEAP?
Yes, LEAP.
Career Development Officer.
Yes, ma'am.
Before you go, there are parents who are watching, there are young men who are watching. Because one of the things I've heard from you is not a pretty story.
No.
It's a story of struggle.
Yes, yes.
And things are going to be tough.
Right.
But it can happen.
Right, yes.
What's the last word that you have for
well,
people who are watching?
when I was coming up through the program, no scholarship, no funding, no loans. I had to work night and day to hustle.
Yeah.
But the streets made me a hustler, you know.
Yeah.
So I used my academic skills to hustle, motivation here, teach some classes there. And the issue is, I want all the young people to know that you have to work hard. Michael Jordan said you should never stop working hard. The minute you stop working hard, you should walk away from the game. But the game don't mean basketball only, it means life.
Life.
And so I keep pushing. And many times, as this in the story, nowhere to study, properly with the proper internet service. And so I had to use the different food stores,
buy a one plate.
Yes.
Chit, go through and spend the whole day till they get the work done.
And then get the work done because you have to get the work up. So I want young people to know that they have to make sacrifice. And once you have that determination, which is to push you to where you want to go, that's it. So hard work, determination, and sacrifice.
It's awesome to meet you.
Yes.
I wish every young person in Jamaica could meet and sit with you and see that anything is possible. It's a pleasure.
Yes, thank you very much.
To have had you on the show. Career Development Officer at LEAP, Dr. Howard Harvey. Great that I can say that. Speaks to something about our educational system and things that we need to look at. And when the kids leave school, how can we facilitate their continued learning in a different way so they can become PhD holders like Dr. Harvey. Stay with us for details on the upcoming Bun and Cheese Festival. We're going to be right back.